I hope you guys are all as excited as I am about the Third Kingdom and the upcoming Serialscapes claim and Prisms Mint, as you would have seen, and as we were just discussing, a blog's just gone out which goes into much more detail around how all of that works. I can give a bit of a recap just on that as well, which is basically with the fair value sale. The way that it works is essentially there's a baseline price associated to a prism, but if the total amount committed by people exceeds the total amount of available prisms based on that price, then it all adjusts to a prorated amount. So what actually happens is at the end of the sale, you don't receive a prism, you receive a prism voucher, and that voucher can be a fractional number. So if we exceed the total sale volume, then those that have put in just the baseline price will actually receive a fraction of a ticket, and those tickets will then be tradable on Dexter as well. So it's an interesting novel mechanic that we've implemented to allow for, I guess, a fairer distribution and to avoid, just whales coming in and buying up the whole lot. Outside of that, it's been really cool to bring. Actually, by the way, it sounds like someone's just on the side of the road there. We're getting it. I think that's you, Monty. Are you on the side of the road?
No, it's probably my headphone. Myself.
Okay. Just a reminder. There we go. Yeah, just unless you're talking, please mute yourself, just to make the audio clear for everyone. On top of that, been really cool to see us bringing our various partners on board for this one, and not only starting to open up the respective communities to each other. We're seeing some really good kind of cross-pollination happening there, but it's also been really good in terms of across the entire industry. Even just that image that we had with all of the different collectibles together has made a lot of people kind of take notice across the industry as a whole, and all raise their hands of saying, how do we get involved? So yeah, really incredible few weeks, going to be a big few weeks to come as well. And of course, there's been all of Aaron's stuff that he's been putting out. All hail to the Hot Dog King. Really cool to see all of the stuff coming out of Innovation Department and getting closer and closer to actually, the final kind of product delivery side of things. On another note, I know a lot of you have been asking regularly for some updated info on tokenomics. We hear you. We will get that info out when we're ready, but just please bear with us on that front. There's no need to keep raising it every single week. Also, before we jump into the questions, last thing is that you will have noticed that we pushed out an update to Future Score yesterday. Some of you may have actually noticed a perceived decrease in Future Score as a result. Just to provide some clarity here, so there was an update that was initially pushed last week, but it ended up making some miscalculations on some of the components. For example, many party bears were actually being double counted, and so that's why for a lot of you it may have seemed like there's been a decrease since last week, but what's actually happened is if you go back like 2 weeks before that previous one, that was the previous baseline number, and for most of you, you will have actually seen an increase since then, because we have now established the points for TNL gear, Bridge Seekers, Racers, NFTs as well. Just on that as well, so so excluding last week's update, which caused those errors, you should actually see a slight increase to your score if you hold any of those previously mentioned collectibles. And with that, I think we'll jump straight into questions.
Righty, awesome, sweet. So the first question that I have here is which within races are NFTs versus SFTs?
So as I just mentioned there, so we've actually implemented the Future Score points for races NFTs, but the SFTs, semi-fungible tokens, are still being worked on. Those are only the steering wheels, seats, and accessories, and those, it's pretty negligible. All the other stuff is, the chassis, the wheels, the engine, etc. All of that are NFTs, and that's the stuff that's just had this feature score implemented.
Sweet. Awesome. Perfect. Next question is there any other way for me to catch up on any of the stuff that I've missed / increase my future score before rewards were given out for Quest 8?
If you're looking for a simpler way to stay on top of everything that happens, Futureverse News is always a really good source. Otherwise, you can check the likes of the weekly recaps from people like Max Poker and NFT Bro. But important to note here that Quest rewards, unless otherwise stated, Quest rewards are based on the future score at the time of the quest closing, not at the time of the quest being paid out.
Right. Perfect. Sweet. Yeah, we have so many great resources. If you can't catch up with everything at once, we've got so many different places to look, so that's awesome. Next question is, how does Futureverse plan to address IP licensing concerns for non-Futureverse assets used in Futureverse environments?
So I think this is a broader situation that applies to like the metaverse as a whole. And in our view, it really comes down to the game developer. So whether it's us or a third party, it's to them to determine which assets or collectibles are allowed into their environments. From our perspective, we're taking the approach of, partnering with the actual IP rights holders for the most part. But yeah, when you think of, the metaverse, it is a series of interconnected experiences, but those connected experiences themselves will likely have rules around which assets, collectibles, avatars, etc. are allowed and what kind of utility, functionality, etc. that they have in those specific environments. We're working on some solutions around how we can better facilitate that as well through, like a metaverse passport sort of thing.
Awesome. Perfect. All right, next question is, has the root network or any other components thereof been audited by third parties, e.g. custom runtimes, staking module, bridges, FuturePass? If so, are those publicly available? If not, can they be made publicly available?
We've undergone audits across pretty much all components of our work. The relevant audits will be published through our GitHub at the appropriate time.
Perfect. Sweet. Next question. Will the quests be more frequent?
You'll just have to wait and see on that one.
Awesome. The math shows we have just under 18% of the rewards left for the community and roughly 15 months to go. Is it safe to assume that we can expect a sharp increase in either the multipliers given out as per quest, say 5+ quests a month in the near future?
Well, we have to get all that root out somehow. And it sounds like you've done the maths, so there you go.
Awesome. Perfect. Another question here. I moved some Futureverse assets to a hardware wallet and didn't have time to also add the new address to my FuturePass. Can we have a warning before quest rewards to ensure our wallets are up to date?
So I guess this first and foremost touches on what I said before, and that the quest rewards are based on your future score at the time of quest completion, not at the time of distribution. But also, it shouldn't take more than like a minute to link a new address to your FuturePass. It's a pretty straightforward process.
Awesome. Don't forget to do that, folks. Perfect. Next question is, with scams coming back, could Futureverse start putting "this is the last tweet in the thread" post out with their comms?
Yes, 100% that has been done.
Perfect. Easy. See, ask and you shall receive. Next question is, can fluff holders get the Walker World claim?
Walker World land claim. I'm not fully across the Walker World land claim, to be honest. I will need to have a look into that, but we have a very close partnership with Walker World. So if there is something coming out on that side, then it'll be sure to be reciprocated. But pretty much all of the Walker World stuff is kind of working a lot more closely on the Readyverse and Third Kingdom side of things.
Sweet. Alrighties. Somebody just suggested, can we please get a filter under collectibles in Future Pass?
Yeah. I mean, this has been something that's been on the internal roadmap basically since the launch. We have had other updates that have taken priority, a lot of the other recent features, but this is something that we are working on and expect to see it go live in the coming months.
Perfect. Sweet. Now to some silo questions. What is our silo actually doing? Is there any activity happening on the network? Will the silo LP dashboard be staying live and producing rewards too?
So at the moment, at this stage, it's more just for us to ensure that it's all functioning properly. This is why we've launched in closed beta. We're actually bootstrapping the staking rewards until we get network activity up and running after some of the upcoming updates.
Cool.
In terms of the Silo LP dashboard, I need to double check on what the plans are for there, but I believe that's going to be sunset as everything moves over to the Seeker side.
Cool. Perfect. Another question. Are there any workarounds to unstaking Silo and on the old dashboard? Can we just port it over to root or something?
Unfortunately not. You'll have to unstake and then bridge to TRN and follow that process.
Sweet as.
Is that noise coming through from your side, Monty, or have we got someone else with a hot mic?
No, yes, it's my dog is just yelling at me. Question is, sorry, he wants to be in 30 minutes next. Question is, what did you think about the Sappy Seals world when they went live today? Did you see it?
Actually, there's one that you just skipped over there. If you can touch on the other one.
This one? Are there workarounds? Because it's just
one
says...
highlighted. Are you reading it directly off the document?
Yes, it just says a bunch of questions.
Yes.
From Mark Clark on Seeker Silo.
Yep.
People can jump into the channel if they want to read them. But you just summarize. Oh.
No. So, okay. So anyway, yes. So there's a bunch of questions from Mark Clark around Seekers and Silo. If people want to read those, they can jump into the channel, but it's far too extensive for us to read out here. As we've stated many times, if you want your questions to be read out directly and answered directly, make them succinct. Don't write us a novel. But yeah, so as I kind of touched on there, the Seekers network, we're still getting up and running. I guess to provide a bit of clarity there, Seekers network isn't like a fully on-chain, like a standard sort of L2. It won't have its own block explorer, etc. It is a decentralized network that is incentivized using the root network, but each node on the Seekers network isn't storing the same data like it would on a blockchain. It's quite complex, and there's obviously still a fair bit to wrap your heads around, but we'll be posting some updated documentation on this soon enough, so stay tuned for those.
Perfect. Sweet. Alrighties. Next question is, can you confirm the current quota amount of root available as sends from the cycle?
Yes, so it is equivalent to the 10% of the total circulating supply of root at the end of the cycle. So I think it will work out to be approximately 1% of the total supply.
Right, perfect. All right, now a bit of a cheeky one. Maybe it's because it's coming up to 420 next month, but has any of the team got any joint fluffs? I don't know if they meant joint fluffs like pairs or joint fluffs as in joints.
Yeah, a bit of a random question. Yes, on both fronts. I have pairs that have, and I have joint fluffs, and I think I might even have pairs that have pairs of joint fluffs. Personally, and I'm sure others in the company do as well.
Yeah, I've got a durry fluff. My fluff has a ciggy. It's pretty good. Alrighties, perfect. Next question is, would love to hear more about the patent plans. Wayfinder paper today talking minting agents, training, memories, personalities. I think we're all curious if the team have had discussions.
I actually wasn't aware of Wayfinder, so thanks for sharing that. It actually looks like they are infringing on our patents. So I've passed this on to the relevant people internally. If they are infringing on our patents, which it certainly looks like they are from first glance, then they're either going to have to work directly with us or going to have to take a very different strategy. We'll be making more of our patents public at the appropriate time. A couple of them are already published in the R&D section of the website, and there's a lot more that are in various stages. So once we get those a little bit further along, we'll be publishing those as well.
Perfect. Sweet as. All right, on to the next question. What did you think about the Sappy Seals World when it went live today? Did you see it?
Honestly, I haven't had a look at it. Been a bit busy on our side, but I'm keen to hear what the community's thoughts are on it, though. Definitely, there's so much coming out, and it is actually really cool to finally see a lot of these projects actually achieve, what has been promised from many years ago. I know it does feel like a lifetime ago for many. So, props to Sappy Seals for actually getting their world live. But no, I haven't had a chance to have a look. But if anyone wants to give me the lowdown, very interested.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it is an interesting one because I guess, games don't happen overnight and it takes years to develop things. So it's cool to see some of these projects getting those things out. Anyway, next question is, the fungible assets runtime states that 1% of each new asset created is distributed to a network node to network node validators. Is this currently the case?
No, so that specific feature is one of the next planned updates to the runtime on that roadmap. It's not it's not live currently.
Alrighty, easy. All right, this is a good one. This next question is, does Aaron McDonald have a middle name? If so, does it start with S, making his initials ASM?
He does have a middle name, but it doesn't start with an S, unfortunately. Maybe we can see if he wants to get it legally changed. But I'm sure it has some sentimental value to him, and it starts with a J.
Oh, what could it be? I want to hear your theories. Yeah, I think Aaron State McDonald sounds a bit random, but alrighty. With TNL, is there a way I can I can check on chain who my draw was against?
I mean, you could probably search the fighter's name and find the wallet owner that way, but then you just end up with a wallet address or whatever name alias they've given themselves. The fight data itself isn't stored on chain, so there's no direct feed there. But as we continue to update and roll out more features in TNL, there's certainly stuff that we might look into there around being able to kind of add friends or dig into the person behind the fighter and that sort of stuff a bit more.
Right, cool. All right, next question is, if my computer can run TNL, does that mean it'll be able to run TTK? So that's the Nilix Legends and the Third Kingdom for those who are just tuning in for the first time.
So we can't confirm this just yet, but I would expect so. The current TNL build does need some optimizing. It is a bit on the heavier side, and we expect that the Third Kingdom will be less intense, but once again, we can't confirm that outright at this stage. We will release device specs when we have them ready.
Awesome. Perfect. Oh, next question. Are Epic building anything for Futureverse?
I can't answer that.
All right, moving right along. What is the difference between Roblox 3D AI tooling and Futureverses?
I mean, I haven't explored Roblox tools, to be honest, and I'm honestly not the best person to speak on the intricacies of AI tool development. As far as our AI 3D tooling, we'll publish more info on that when we're ready.
Perfect. Sweet. All right. Can the folks that staked a seeker and silo at the start readjust their position /seeker/node now that the staking mechanics and options have changed several times?
Yeah, so this one, actually, just firstly here, I guess, you're not actually staking seekers right now. Your seekers can become nodes in the network once we get out of closed beta, but for now, you're just staking silo to one of the company seeker nodes during this closed beta while we get everything else up and running. If you want to change your stake, you'll have to go through the process of unstaking and restarting the process.
Sweet. Easy. All right, next question. Are there rewards pro rata regardless of your node choice or seeker staked?
I believe so, yes. I think there might be a bit of variability at the moment, but this is the point of us launching in a closed beta like this, to make sure we get everything working properly before we roll it out further.
Sweet. All right, next question is, have the rewards been increased pro rata for the increase in stake? Oh,
I can't confirm any additional details in terms of rewards at this stage, but you can do the maths yourself.
sweet. Easy peasy. All right, next question is, what will happen with the other 2,222 ray guns? Will they still be ray guns?
Yeah, the plan is, I believe that we're still looking to release them once we get some more use cases in place for ray guns.
Awesome. Perfect. All right, multi-token gas system. Can you talk about question, not system? Can you talk about how the multi-token gas system introduced last week works? On the back end, is it swapping on Dexter, or can it search for the most favorable rate on any root network DEX? And how is the slippage calculated on the back end?
So the multi-token gas system has actually been live pretty much since the start, and we've used it in a few different experiences around mints to date. Obviously, the recent update and reference there was directly for the FuturePass dashboard and implementing it there with a wide range of token options. The way that it works is actually we have a DEX palette directly on the root network. So when DEXs launch that are using that are launched natively on the root network, like Dexter, they're actually all working off that same palette. So the liquidity pools that are being established on Dexter would also be the same liquidity pools that are being accessed via. No. Sorry, hot mic, please mute. Or I'll mute you. Yeah, thank you. So the DEX palette basically serves all of the DEXs that work directly off native TRN. Now, Moai, for example, doesn't use it because they're on EVM, not using the native DEX palette, so it's a little bit different. But if, for example, another DEX was to pop up on the root network that was running on the native DEX palette, then that would be using the same liquidity pools across Dexter and wherever else as well. So when, for example, we use any token gas system, whether it's someone sending something within the dashboard, whether it's paying for a mint or whatever it may be, it's going directly into the DEX palette and doing the exchange in real time with the baseline slippage and all that sort of stuff that you have on the DEX palette. Now, what you might see in some cases is that, for example, if you chose to pay with, ASTO instead of XRP for gas on a transaction, you might actually end up with a little bit of extra XRP back in your wallet afterwards because it's kind of a variable one. So we'll often have a little bit of an extra buffer on there just to make sure that transaction goes through successfully.
Sweet. Alrighties. Next question is, Non-Fungible Labs wrote some code for the Kiwi government, right? Or was it a whole blockchain? Please could you refresh my memory as much as you wish to say or correct around this?
We didn't directly as Non-Fungible Labs. I think maybe SensNet or Plug or one of the other ones in the Centrality ecosystem did at the time. But it certainly wasn't us at Non-Fungible Labs. I know Aaron has done a bit with the government in terms of helping consult, and there's some hearings, I think, and a lot of the work that we've been doing is both originally non-fungible labs, ASM, etc., and now as Futureverse has helped shape some of the policy, because at the time we were having to kind of figure out best practices because there weren't well-established best practices, and then a lot of that actually ended up going back to the government and becoming established best practices.
Cool. Sweet. All right, the next question is, have you read Soft War or ever seen Jason Paul Lowry being interviewed? Pretty scary / bright stuff. Bitcoin equals weapon.
I have not, but I will check it out. Thanks for the suggestions.
Yeah, I know, that sounds quite interesting. I'm definitely going to have a little Google after this. So next question is quite creative. So is the Futureverse more like Metaverse Feds or the Metaverse Mafia? Because Mafia might be more interesting, but it's a tightrope either way. Oh, maybe y'all could be the Metaverse royal family. Is this what the upcoming royal announcement is?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're more like the metaverse utilities providers. We're running the plumbing and the electrical, and helping build the roads, and putting the tools in place to plug everything together so everyone else can build. I certainly wouldn't call us the mafia.
Yeah, slightly questionable. But right, I'm just heading into 30 minutes max and seeing some questions that folks have tagged me in over here. From level 50 here. Now that boroughs and land have been separated, what is the plan for boroughs going forward? Will we be able to put boroughs on our surreal escapes at some point in the future?
I mean, I can't discuss all the future utility stuff, but there are plans for boroughs and how they fit into all the other stuff that we're building. But I can't give any specifics on that at this stage.
Sweet. All right. A couple of these questions are questions that folks should maybe read the blog first. That's going to be our new at command in Futureverse. Read the blog. But maybe
there's
should we
also
open?
for a reminder as well, for a lot of these product specific ones, we have dedicated FAQ channels in the Ask Us Anything forum. So I'm seeing a lot of questions here around prisms, a lot of stuff that we can't answer at this stage. If you have any questions there, best to post them directly in that FAQ channel. That way it's an always on piece of content there that anyone can refer to in real time, rather than just kind of doing it right now.
Yeah, definitely. Easy. That sounds great. Should we open the floor up for a couple of questions for anybody in the chat right now?
Sure.
Sound good? Anybody, if you've got any other cues, feel free to unmute yourself.
Yo, Alex. This is Algie.
Yo.
So I posted a question about sends that was asking about like the allocation that the team, or like that never got distributed, is what I should say. I was just wondering what happens. Like, does that get burned over for root?
Which allocation are you talking about? Sorry, I don't understand the question.
Like, there's a portion of sends that is not distributed.
Yeah. So if you're talking about anything that's within our treasury,
right.
I mean, I can't provide details of what we do with our treasury. That's just not something that we ever discuss publicly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, maybe ask about it, but I had some people asking me that basically like because a good portion of the sends hasn't been converted into root, so I don't know, but
well, I mean, no sends has been converted.
Or I mean, yeah, I said that wrong. I meant a good portion of the sends hasn't been distributed, is what I meant. Isn't it like 1 billion tokens or something like that?
Well,
you don't know
the entire supply of sends is 1.2 billion. So
yeah, and so isn't it like a majority of it is still in that treasury? Maybe this isn't a good question to ask live, but it got overlooked. It sounds like I asked about it, but maybe you guys didn't see it because it was like one of the first ones. But it's okay. I can ask again, and then you guys can maybe answer the next time.
All right. But what I can tell you for now is that we still haven't even hit the full allocated quota for this first cycle.
I asked about this one time, and they told me that I asked about this one time, and I forget who answered, but they told me that they aren't gonna convert the treasury sends into root. So I don't know if that's still the plan, but
yeah, I don't know who told you that. To me, it wouldn't make any sense because we have a dedicated amount that is of root, which is available from Sensburn, and it is equivalent to the total supply of Sens. So
there's quite a lot of this is confusing in the Discord.
What are you talking about? Sorry.
Yeah, but I think that strengthens because like.
Sorry, are you asking a question or are you just talking with a hot mic?
It's not talking.
If they're saying,
Oh, it's Nicole. No, she's Nicole's explaining it.
I think she's on another call.
Yeah.
But
Is she? Oh.
no, but it's all good. Like, it's not like something I'm concerned about or whatever. I figured you guys like would know right here, but it's not a big deal. I think it sounds like you need to make sure you ask about it so you don't say the wrong thing.
Right. Yeah. Here we go. Awesome. All right. Is there anybody else that has any other questions before we hit off? We've just come past our 30 minutes maximum.
Hey, Chicka-ricka-licka, mic check. Can you guys hear me loud and clear?
Yes, we can.
Just want to let you know I'm out of the cab. I've arrived safely in the Gold Coast. I like to say it's the sunnyshine coast here, but it's not. It's raining. It's miserable. But that's okay.
Oh.
I wanted to answer a question that was raised regarding does anybody's fluff smoke joints? I can safely say that both my fluffs, Mo Meta and Flossie, do late nights in the Snoop Dogg studio, rolling up another sweet and listening to the beat again. So, yes, I can confirm that on both accounts. And Monty, thank you for stepping into my shoes at the last minute. And the show must go on. So, great job, mate. Really appreciate it. Good show, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. And hey Mo, what's happening over in the GC? I hear we have a bit of a thing that's going on out there. Do you want to give us a bit of a update?
Don't want to know.
Oh.
You really don't want to start this.
Well, the things that are going to happen, you're never going to find out. But the things that are hopefully going to happen is we all meet up at a bar on the Saturday night down on the main beach there, place called Yacht Deck. That's our best spot picked out at the moment, but that could change. At the moment, we're staying pretty flexible on it all. The weather's not great. We'll make it work. But really looking forward to ice coming up. We're going to have the Lord of the Horde Kyle up here as well. That's going to be superb. And it's just a great venue. It's going to be a really exciting time. So anyone who's coming up to the Wave of Innovation, can't wait to see you. 100%. So, yeah, I'm up here. I'm getting organised, but it's a lot of background noise. So I'll just sort of step away from the mic quietly. And, of course, anybody, if you've got any more questions, hit Alex up. This is your chance.
Alex, how did you come on the mint price of 696 root? That's, if I see it right, if somebody calculated right, a valuation of 9.5 million for the prisms. At least it can go higher.
As you can clearly tell, the mint price of 696.9 was something that was actually done through extensive economic analysis and accounting projections that helped us to land on a figure that is, quite arbitrary and has nothing to do with the culture, of course.
Yeah, leaving culture and fun besides, because it's money. It's around 75 to 80 bucks per thing, and leaves, for example, me with a mint if I want to have 3 prisms per burrow or parcel for around 5,000 bucks value. That's a lot of money asking from holders, even if it's only one with 80 bucks. For a lot of people, it's a lot of money. So I'm just asking, what is the thought behind?
PCR, I'm just going to stop you there. No one's forcing you to buy anything. You don't have to buy all of them as well. Like, at that price, it's very reasonable considering if you look at the grand scale of every single other mint that has happened, like this is like far on the lower end of any mint within the industry. And also look at the sheer amount of root tokens that are up for grabs in this first season alone. Now, we've already established that Prisms in this first initial mint premium and will have higher stats than others. There are increased future score points associated to them, engagement score as well if you purchase increased engagement score in the first 24 hours. And that 300 and was it 325 or something million root, that's just for the first season. So
can you tell us how long?
Do the math.
Can you tell us how long the first season will be? Will we see?
No, I can't.
Will we see our parcels before? And will we see the game before to understand what we are minting?
The just read the blog. Pretty much all the information that you need is in there. The Surrealscape claim, the Surrealscape claim goes out like at the same time. So yeah, that's all there.
Yeah, but will they be revealed?
It's up to you to do the maths on whether you want to purchase this. I'm not here to try and convince you or provide you any sort of financial returns. The math is all there very easily. To me, it's a no-brainer. It's very cheap for a Prism, and the returns, the potential returns, if you look at the root rewards, are massive. So it's a no-brainer for me, but I'm not here to try and convince you if you don't want to.
But it says Prism must have game-ready collectible. Means I can't play the game without Prisms.
Well, you can't play the Third Kingdom without Prisms, but you can play other games with it. Or without it. You can play TNL without Prisms. You can play races without Prisms. It's up to you if you want to take part or not.
All right. Awesome. Perfect. Well, I think that we have... Oh, hello? Is that Tabo?
I just had a quick question. I see Cool Cats and Dead Fellas sharing their, and Walker World sharing their mint allocations. Are we going to see other partners discussing that, and also is there going to be like collab spaces and communications with these other partners in the future? Just wondering how that's all.
We're in constant comms with all the relevant parties here. We are looking at potentially doing some unified spaces and that, but we're not in charge of how other partners run their comms. That's up to them, and they all, they're all different companies. They run in their own way. So we need to respect that. If we're coming into this together and we're bringing friends on this journey, they're going to have their ways of doing things, which might not necessarily be the same as the way that we want, the way that we do things. But the metaverse is built with friends.
Cool. No, that makes sense. I'm happy to wait to hear from them. I just heard some speculation that people think that Pudgy Penguins and Doodles aren't really involved because they're not saying anything. I was just wondering if you're in comms with them, so there must be something going on behind the doors.
Yeah, when we do partnerships, we do partnerships. Like, we don't use the word partnerships willy-nilly. We're not Web3 cowboys just trying to pull kind of vampire attacks on other communities or anything like that. Like, we are literally in regular comms with all of the relevant leadership. We have full sign-off to use their assets. We've gone through the entire strategy with them. But what is not our place is to tell them how to run their comms.
Perfect. That's all I wanted to hear, just to help with that speculation. Thank you.
Sweet. Easy peasy. All right. Any more questions before we head off? No? Awesome. Good as gold. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for this week's 30 Minutes Max. If you haven't, read the blog, which will tell you everything that you need to know about the upcoming Prisms Mint. And Alex, any last words before we say goodbye?
Just as always, thank you all for joining us on this journey. I know there's a lot coming out at the moment. It's a lot to wrap your heads around. Definitely read the blog maybe a couple of times just to make sure you're clear. I'm seeing people kind of get a bit up in arms in the community But honestly, the way that this is developed is quite revolutionary and ensures that everyone does get their fair share of the pot. It's not
Alex,
like other, Dutch auctions and stuff like this, where actually the whales can come in and take up the entire supply off the bat. That's actually exactly the opposite of what we're doing. Everyone who puts in anything to this gets their fair share back. So it's been constructed specifically in a fair manner, and yeah, really looking forward to taking you all on the rest of this journey with us. Starting to see some more stuff come to light, but really excited for this next stage with the Prisms launch next week.
Alex, just a technical question, and I have to read the blog. Shoot me if it's in there. TNL is lagging on my MacBook Pro as hell. Can you release the stats of the computer we need to play the game?
I've already touched on that in 30 Minutes Max today. We will release the device specifications when they're ready, but at this stage, I can't confirm, but I would expect that if your computer is able to run TNL, then it would be able to run the Third Kingdom, but we can't 100% confirm that until we have all the final builds through. So we will put that out when we have that ready.
Awesome. Alrighties. Well, with that, I will bid you all adieu and see you possibly next week.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Monty.
Cheers.